The following bits of video are all compiled together, and I walk you through the steps I take to plant my seedlings. I'm kind of challenged when it comes to keeping time and dates and where I am in the week, so I make a lot of bloopers throughout the video, and I apologize for that. But this is about 5 or 6 days worth of little videos, so I guess you could call this a vlog. I don't know. I'm not an expert at doing YouTube by any means, and I'm just using a little handheld snap and shoot camera to take these videos. A couple of times I used my phone. I just put them all together, and I hope you find some interest in it. I enjoy doing it. I really do. It's just the first week in April. I think I got that right this time. So I started potting up the sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. I've done quite a lot of potting this week, even though we've had a series of rainstorms. But rainy days and cool weather I find to be the most perfect time to transplant, because the hoop house doesn't get too hot, and so the seedlings just seem to take right off. So anyway, here is my first week in April. This is my staging area where I pot things up, getting prepared for the next moving on stage for my seedlings. We've had rain today and last night, so I've got my soil situation covered up to keep it from getting waterlogged. And I went to the recycle place down the road, and for $1 a pot I stocked up on a few dozen. So I'm ready to go. I have 2 Mammoth Russians sunflowers in this little 4-inch pot. So the pot that I have prepared also has an empty. So this is what I did. I put the powdered assos in the bottom, and then I'm going to take these 2 plants out and try, as I might, not to disturb the roots. Sunflowers produce a long taproot, and from what I've read, they don't enjoy having their roots disturbed. So I'm planting these on fairly early, as easy as I can. It's a rainy day today, so the hoop house shouldn't get too warm. And here we go. Well, that was very interesting. When I took these 2 seedlings out of the 4-inch pot, one of them had a taproot that was already 4 inches long, coiled all around the bottom. These are less than a week old, these seedlings, so now I know why most people just plant their Mammoth Giant seeds right out in the garden without bothering with potting. But I'm doing it my own way. I don't have a lot of room. Everything has to grow in pots pretty much. So what I'm going to do is, as these seedlings grow, the most vigorous one will be allowed to keep on, and I'll just take scissors and snip off the less vigorous seedling. So even though that is a shorter one on the bottom, it could be the one with the 4-inch taproot. I don't know. So, but I won't pull it out, whichever one I cull, because I don't want to disturb the roots of the one that I'm keeping. And so in another month or less, these will have to go on into larger pots. The Mammoth Giant seedlings are only a couple days old, but I'm going to pot on a few of the most vigorous because we got this going on. Those are many roots coming out of the bottom of the toilet paper roll cylinder. And that is a healthy Mammoth Russian, so it's getting potted on. Hard to do things with one hand, but I'll show you where I do this. It's my sitting area, right in front of the fish pond. Hello, fish! And so what I'm going to do is remove the cylinder, the fresh, unused toilet paper cylinder that's in my potting mix. So the bottom part of the pot is my homemade compost, and the top part is seedling mix with sand and fertilizer. What I do for the seedlings is I take this azose. I take just let's see. I dip into it, take a little bit, put it in the bottom of the pot, gently put it in there. Okay, so then, see if I can do this holding the camera with one hand. That is an amazing amount of root growth for a 2 or 3 day old seedling. It's April 5th today. I planted these seeds April 2nd. So here we go. Gently, gently down into the hole. Not forcing too much because I don't want... Okay, the dilemma is my hole's not big enough. What to do? Okay, nope, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to re-dig the hole. Well, that was tricky, but I managed to get the seedling in, no damage. All those roots are nicely tucked in to the pot. And now I'm going to water with diluted compost tea. Just gently putting it in to settle the soil. I don't want to overdo it. My compost tea has been brewing for over a month. I use it and then I add more rainwater, use it, add more rainwater, and on and on. I feed it molasses and liquid fish fertilizer. I put a little kelp meal in there. Then I water it down in a gallon jug. I put half rainwater and half of the compost tea in a gallon jug. I add, let's see, I add a little bit of mycorrhizal fungi powdered and a little bit of Cal-Mag. It's liquid calcium magnesium. Oh, just a quarter teaspoon in the jug. Azose is something I'm trying new this year. It's for rooting cuttings and transplants. It's beneficial bacteria. It says here promotes natural growth and well, I don't know, natural growth promoter. That's what it says. I'm reading it right there. So anyway, yay! First mammoth Russian potted up. I'm going to pick the 6 healthiest, most vigorous seedlings, and the rest of them I'll probably feed to the chickens because nothing goes to waste here at the Romantic Garden. It's ending up the last week in April, and a lot of my seeds that I planted at the end of March are germinating and just developing their first true leaves. So a lot of things have to be potted on. The Atlantic giant pumpkins, especially, I've got 3. I planted maybe 12 and I've got 3, but this is happening with the roots. And even though the true leaf is just barely up, I want to pop this on because I don't want to stunt the growth of anything that's a giant. I want things to just keep on going as if they were never transplanted. I don't want them to know they've been disturbed. So I will put that down and I will prepare the pot. I use a product called Azose, which is a powdered beneficial bacteria, promotes growth. The package says is use it on seedlings and transplants. And so I've been using it this year, and it's too early to know what kind of benefit it's going to give my seedlings, but I'm putting it in the bottom of every pot, and I'll show you how I do it. I take a clean tag, I get a little bit on there, and then I come down here. Okay, this is going to be tricky, holding a camera with one hand and gardening with the other. So I take out the pot, my pre-prepared pot with homemade compost, little fertilizer added, and I put the azose in the bottom. And just do a little of that. And take my pumpkin. Put it right in there. Move the tag. Put the tag right there. Give it a little shake. A little more shake. And let's see. It needs a little bit more soil. Another little shake. Press it down there a little bit. It's not exactly centered, but I don't care. It's a pumpkin. It'll do what pumpkins do. I'm going to need a little bit more seedling soil, I think, to top this off and cover that ridge of that little fiber pot. So, and then I water them in. I use recycled milk jugs. I make up a little bit of fungi tea using micro-rise fungi, little powder. I use maybe about a half a teaspoon. And then CalMag, calcium magnesium, a little quarter of a teaspoon. It's liquid. And then compost tea, my homemade compost tea, which I'll do a video on that later. It's nothing fancy, nothing special, but it's really good. It's almost gone, so I need to fill this jug up again. So I put all of those things in a half a jug of rainwater. And then I water in my seedlings. I've been doing this for all of my seedlings, and it doesn't burn. As long as I water it down with rainwater, it doesn't burn. So let that drain out. Make sure all the extra water drains out of the bottom before I put it on the potting bench. And so there, my first Dill's Atlantic giant pumpkin. Looks pretty good. We're having a series of rain and windstorms, so I'm keeping all of these seedlings growing in the hoop house. Nighttime temperatures in the hoop house are 60, 62 degrees. I use electric heaters. This is a porcelain heater. It's a flat contraption. It's got just one little button, turns it on and off. There's no temperature. It's hot. I wouldn't want to leave my hand on it. It's that hot, but it won't burn. If I back up to it by accident, I'm not going to burn my bottom, and it's not hot enough to catch anything on fire. So I really like that heater. I have two of them. I used to use them in my chick house, the brooder house, for baby chicks, because they could huddle up around it and keep warm, and I didn't have to worry about the barn burning down. Well, this is the end of the vlog for this week. These are the pumpkin seedlings that I potted on over the last few days. I've still got quite a few sunflower seedlings to pot on, but well, look at these guys. These are my mammoth giants. They grew, I think, at least 2 inches since potting them up. They have grown about an inch every 24 hours. So right now, this one, let's see, I don't know if it shows up in the camera. This one was 3 inches. This was the tallest one. It was 3 inches when I planted it a couple of days ago, and it is now close to 7 inches. That's astonishing. There is no doubt in my mind that I went overboard with the sunflowers, because I've got more sunflowers than I know what to do with. Seriously. And there's so much more to do for potting. These are golden ball turnips and champion radishes that I need to do something with immediately. So that's my project for today. Yesterday I potted on the giant Musselburgh leeks. Not very many because I don't, like I continue to say, I don't have a lot of room. And, oh, look at there. Surprise, surprise. More sunflowers. Ha! So a recap for this vlog is what I've done from April 2nd until today. And the sunflower seeds were, and along with the pumpkin seeds, were planted March 27th. So, yeah, I don't know, about a week to 10 days. Growth, I think they're doing real well. This is out in my little area where the Cinderella pumpkins are going to eventually be planted. It's just a little corner. We're preparing the soil now. I've got a couple of tubs of tulips waiting out here. They're being staged here to keep them from the deer and the rabbits until we put them out on the patio. So I hope everybody enjoyed going through my everyday routines in the spring. I hope you're all well and gardening heavily just like I am. It'll make the world a better place, don't you think? Bye-bye for now.